Folks, welcome. It is not Wednesday, but it's still What's TrainWreck Watching. I'm Maniac, and I'm joined this time just by our resident expert, CASALI. I know he's not Trevor Lawrence. I know he's not Joe Burrow, but he is here to drop some dimes and some factoids. And of course, on What's TrainWreck Watching, unless you've been sleeping under a rock or in a different multiverse, we've been watching What If from Marvel. CASALI, welcome to the party. We're a day after. I know we've been busy. I know you got a lot going on. It was me who had to miss it yesterday, and that's why, unfortunately, Micah couldn't be here. But what were your thoughts on this most recent installment of Marvel's What If?
Yeah, what's going on, Maniac? No worries. You know, we are celebrating the day before October the right way by getting all geeky and nerdy with What If. And oh my God, what an episode we had tonight. It was insane to the membrane, everything in between. It was crazy. And I think, again, you know, I've said previous times, every episode, the beauty of the show, it really shows how much different storytelling and everything can be brought to light in so many ways, which, you know, some ways we wanted to in past episodes. And obviously with this episode, it was literally worst case scenario. We all thought Thanos was the ultimate. But this was truly, what if Ultron won? What if he actually, you know, came to permission with his mission within Age of Ultron? It was just so insane, balls to the walls glory. But I mean, that's the beauty of the show and the MCU in general. It was gloriousness all the way through. I loved it.
This series really has gotten better at kind of throwing the viewer into a jungle, or the watchers into a jungle. And again, a lot of going on in that storyline. And again, this week we broke down what if Ultron won. So we start with Hawkeye, Android Hawkeye, right?
Kind of,
yeah. He had something going on where
there was something going on with him. He was missing a limb. I forget. It was I guess it was just his right arm. Which, yeah. I mean, who knows what was going on with that? You know, because this was also them during. I guess it was still during the Age of Ultron era, so it was like way before, you know, when he got all dark and stuff with the Endgame era. But yeah, I mean, there was something going on with that. You know, it was kind of tricky to see, you know, still something different. But I guess that's also the beauty of the show, is we don't know where it truly began. You know, if something changed in the beginning, you know, within the universe, you know, since it all tiptoed into different strays. So who knows? But yeah, it was definitely a different sight.
Definitely was. So we have Vision, Ultron, or Ultravision. I don't know what you want to call about this, but he's running around. He's got the Mind Stone. He's got his army. He's got his sentient army. And out of nowhere comes the Mad Titan Thanos. So we start in the Age of Ultron era, but we weren't that far off from 2018, 2019, and Thanos arriving. And I mean, that probably has to be the funniest 10 to 15 second clip since What If started, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because again, kind of what you were saying before. So when this episode started, it truly, again, it kind of paved the way with what Age of Ultron was. But, you know, the biggest thing that happened with Ultron was he was trying to make a sentient body, you know, that was Vision. And luckily in the movies, the Avengers, you know, got a hold of it and made him, you know, Vision. They put Jarvis in Vision, all that stuff. Pretty much this whole episode was dedicated in the fact that what if he, you know, got the hands of Vision, and that's what, you know, completely, you know, set the universe awry, that Ultron had Vision under his control. And I mean, kind of what appeared to what you were bringing up, Maniac. Vision is, you know, I mean, he is unbreakable. He's insane, you know, mad with power. I mean, as far as power levels go within, you know, all the heroes that we come to know. But I mean, he has an Infinity Stone on his forehead. So it's just, I mean, with him at the control, you know, anything's possible. And yeah, we got to see Thanos show up. You know, we got to see him pop up, and you know, because obviously he's the one who took over. However, once you looked at Vision, you know, this was the Vision that we hoped to got, that we were able to have in Infinity War. But you know, he was just going through a lot at the time, and yeah, he completely decimated Thanos. He split him in half. How epic was that? That was pure OG. I loved every second.
It was pure OG. I read a comment somewhere where people said Ultron split him in half, perfectly balanced as all things should be. But
Oh my
yeah,
god.
no. So it was very interesting. So, and I want to bring up the quick top because they were talking the same thing about Thanos' power levels. I mean, this guy walks in with an Infinity Gauntlet. He's ready to rock, but Vision just cuts him right in half. So, has that been something that, from your perspective, that's been a little wonky? It's kind of like whatever they want to do with Thanos in the moment, that's his power level. That's my take on it. From what we've seen from Endgame and Infinity War to this, kind of like he could have just closed his fist and blew up Vision, but I guess he didn't do it in time.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I remember when Infinity War came out, Endgame. I mean, hell, even so many previous, Marvel movies. That was always kind of like, I wouldn't even say the negative side, but the kind of banter where people kind of, try and say, it wasn't all that perfect because, the power levels are all over the place. I mean, everybody is OP to the point where it's kind of like you're just, you have so much power there that you just really can't, contain it, and you have to try and like get the script the right way to get where you want from A to B, and some things you have to go along the line. I mean, I remember in Infinity War there were so many times where it's like, wait a minute, like Thanos can just do this or they could just do this. Like, I remember the whole debate when they were trying to grab the glove off Thanos in
Infinity War.
In Infinity War. Like everyone was kind of like, why don't you just cut his arm off? Like what's going on here? Like, don't worry about the glove, just cut off his hand. And it kind of was just like, again, that's kind of like leading into what you want. But I mean, the way that these stories kind of work. Why
don't we have Ant-Man fly up his butt and then just make it normal size? Of course.
Oh man, I love that fan theory. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's just a way. It's the way the writing works. Obviously, you could always do some. Whether it's plot holes or that what everybody says, but I mean, it still works. You have to make it work somehow and still get from A to B in a contained way to bring the story to life.
And folks, if you're hungry this weekend, getting something for the Bills game, you know who can get you A to B? Picassos Pizza.
Hey, Picasso's freestyle. Let's do it. Hey, eating a couple wings with a couple kings. They're my favorite things. Hey, hey. That's all I got. I'm not a good freestyle rapper. Wait, hold on. Let me think for a second.
Sorry, folks. We got the bag. Go to Picasso'sPizza.net and get that pizza for this weekend or game day. You got to have it. CASALI, so we're going on. We're watching Vision do his thing. And the Watcher, or I guess I looked up his name, Uatu. Were you aware that his name is Uatu?
Yeah, I think even Micah brought this up a couple episodes ago. I don't know really too much about him, like whether where his origin come from and stuff. Obviously, he's portrayed as a big, powerful guy, so it's kind of cool to see him like intertwine and whatnot, do his thing. So again, I wasn't, as far as the comic book side go, I really don't have too much to say, but it was great to just I mean, obviously we've had some things like going on without the show. I think what kind of showcased how well everything is coming together. This episode, everything was really coming together where it kind of showcased that this was, it wasn't just a show that showed one thing and one thing and one thing. I guess that was kind of like what the movies did, like in the beginning of phase 1, they showed us different stories and brought it all together with the Avengers. So to see, the Watcher actually play a significant role, like obviously in the past, like I remember the Doctor Strange episode, he kind of intertwined a little bit with Stephen Strange when he was really dark and stuff.
I love how you're talking about it like, oh, I remember back at the Doctor Strange episode. It was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Hey, listen, a lot happens within the 2 weeks. So much entertainment. But yeah, so it's very cool to see him, break the fourth wall, so to speak, that we can truly see like how much of an impact he has, and again in this episode he kind of showcases like how much like what is truly meant, like his role, what's truly meant, for him to protect is pretty outstanding. And obviously we see Ultron, able to break through, so to speak. you know.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's,
absolutely. And so we see him able to break through. So we see Ultron Vision kind of just basking in all that he's able to do. You got the Watcher, Uatu, just narrating as it goes along. And Ultron kind of just does, or Ultravision just kind of like looks at him like, who's that talking? And all of a sudden, it's like, we're the Watcher and we're worried. The Watcher's worried. And this is the first time really where something from a previous What If episode has factored into a new What If episode, right?
yeah.
Because we saw the end of episode 7, we saw Ultravision come like kind of into the picture. And
Yeah,
now
but
we're
we
seeing,
still didn't even know what was going on.
agreed. He was already conquering that universe. Now we're seeing him looking at him from another perspective as he begins that conquering. So it's very interesting. And out of nowhere, Casali, the Watcher's got some moves.
Yeah, I mean, animation aside, like, holy crap, this was just like glory. Like this literally was, like cinematic value, like pure MCU.
Yes.
It was just, it looked amazing, and even for the voice work itself too. I mean, Jeffrey Wright has been voicing the Watcher every episode thus far, and he's an amazing vocal talent, also actor too. He's going to be in the new Bond next week. So and the guy who did Vision was I can't remember the name right now of who did it in Age of Ultron, but the guy who did Vision was The Walking Dead's own Ross Marquand, who actually he filled in the Red Skull in Infinity War. So it was kind of cool to see him come back, so to speak. And I mean, he sounded impeccable to what Ultron was in Age of Ultron, but just a little sidebar, but yeah, the animation was glorious. Like their whole fight was just outstanding, and it was cool too. It really kind of showcased the power also as the Watcher. Like even though Ultron had the stones, had all this power, he still couldn't bring down the Watcher. Like it really showcased like how important of a character he was. So that was really cool to see.
We talk about it a lot on the show, but the Watcher is definitely OP, a multiversal being for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then meanwhile, you got Natalia, and Clint, and they're teaming up with Arnim Zola to track down Ultravision.
Yeah, right.
Unbelievable.
Like, I mean, so this was cool too because she said it in the beginning that the first time they witnessed Zola in the computer was when they went to the army camp in Jersey that got destroyed in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So they go to Siberia, where it was the place where the Winter Soldier was born in Civil War, like the place where Tony and Cap and Winter Soldier fought at the end of Civil War. They went back to that place, which was just so cool to see. And yeah, have try and get the help of Zola. I mean, look, Zola's a guy on the computer. Like he can't really do, like obviously he did.
Hello,
he helped.
Joseph.
He helped. Yeah, he helped. Bring down Shield and really harness the virus of Hydra within the MCU, beginning with Winter Soldier thus far, really beginning with like Agents of Shield, whatnot. So. Obviously he was a big impact that, he was kind of like, in the bystands, because he was also just, I mean, Toby Jones is a great actor, and it's great to hear his voice again. Again, the beauty of the show that they get to still harness these characters, even though they outlive their lives in the films. So, it was always great to see Zola back. But again, like, I mean, yeah, it's they're trying to take down Skynet, it's Judgment Day. They're trying to, fight this being. So obviously computer versus computer. I mean, what else do you got? So it was kind of cool to see him go down this road.
No doubt about it. And then so yeah, you get down and you got Vision battling the Watcher. They're knocking each other through dimensions. You're taking out Asgard, you're taking out Ego and all this stuff, and it ends up Ultravision kind of gets the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, it just was like they were just going through so much. Again, like what you were just talking about, the fight. Yeah, that he realized, like, because the Watcher's important lesson that he was trying to thing is he can't intervene with the timelines. That's why he was always in the background and stuff. When they went in the it was funny. They went into that like computer room to try and get the files, and they were dropping like Raiders of the Lost Ark quotes and stuff like that, which just made me smile. But yeah, and like they were trying to get like the files to try and even find what Zola was. And like he was just saying, like he couldn't intervene, like he couldn't, say anything. But kind of just, I mean, obviously he had to put his foot down, because this is like this is a huge deal, breaking the multiverse. Again, a topic that we still have no idea what to expect, because we haven't even gotten to the movie side yet. So it's just crazy to see, the impact that this is really becoming for this show and the MCU as a whole.
And as we go down to the tail end here on What's TrainWreck Watching, thank you for tuning in on Thursday night. We got football coming up, but first we're getting into the red zone. We got the Watcher, and he's in trouble. And where does he turn? To Sorcerer Strange Supreme, the absolute abomination that kind of became. And it's funny because Strange Supreme is kind of douchey to him, because their last interaction, he was begging him to help save the multiverse.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and honestly, it was kind of poetic. This made sense, to that this happened, that he was actually able to turn, because again, what was the one character that, kind of broke the fourth wall in the beginning? It was, the magnificent Doctor Strange and what was going on with him. So it kind of made sense that it led to this. They even hit it, like his name wasn't in the opening credits, and then it popped at the very end to keep it a surprise, which, that's what Marvel has been doing since the beginning, which has just been, just perfect screenwriting. But yeah, of course. I mean, it makes sense, and I remember seeing like some pictures and stuff like that as far as like kind of leading to the finale next week. But yeah, I mean, he's getting his own Avengers, so to speak. So and it makes perfect sense that it would be him. Is he going to be
rolling in with Captain Carter and all kinds of other heroes to save the day?
I mean, again, like, who knows? I mean, anything's possible at this point. I mean, once literally the multiverse is broken, I mean, anything is possible. So time will tell. But it's just. This was a very, very, very important episode, an impactful episode. And again, it showed the power of the show. It wasn't just, in the beginning, it kind of represented something fun. Like each episode it changed it up because, and played around with the movies that we love and adore. But it was kind of like what Zola was, in the MCU, hidden in the background. It was building up to something, and we had no idea. And again, that's the beauty of the storytelling, the writing, the producing, Kevin Feige, the madman himself. So it's just great to see that everything is slowly coming together and building to what promises to be a cinematic finale.
Absolutely. Hey, and speaking of the finale, any predictions?
Again, I mean, who's to say what happens? But I really do think that everything comes together. I mean, again, it's cool to see too what Ultron is capable of. A lot of people thought that, like, when they did the Age of Ultron movie, that even though I love that movie, but a lot of people didn't, especially because Ultron was a big like MCU, Marvel villain. Listen, I still enjoyed it. Still
fell
fun.
flat. Oh man, yeah, that's speaking the truth there.
I still love it, but again, it kind of fell flat with writing, and they kind of they had so much to do with so little time, because they were also building up to Thanos and that. So it's kind of cool to see that they can give Ultron the proper turn, and so it's cool, and he has the songs, he has everything. So who's to say? But to see everything come together is just like it's icing on the cake. So I'm excited. This really has been, honestly, I think one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Marvel show that we've gotten. I've just enjoyed it so much. It's been so much fun. Absolutely.
That's very high praise. Folks, make sure you have your weekend come together by ordering Picassos Pizza, whether it's Saturday or Sunday for game day. This is What's TrainWreck Watching, episode 8 of Marvel's What If. Huge shout out to my co-host, CASALI Files. Huge shout out to our typical co-host, Jake Micah, who couldn't make it. I'm Maniac. Make sure you're subscribing. YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Twitch, Apple Podcasts. Because on this show, on What's TrainWreck Watching, it's not just about Picassos Pizza. It's about next week.